You've already seen the damage Erling Haaland has done to the Premier League. You've already seen what Phil Foden did last season, tearing the league apart with his style and swagger. But now, the next scariest player that Manchester City are adding to their squad is a 21-year-old from Lyon with absolute magic in his boots, Rayan Cherki. You've probably seen the nutmegs. You've seen the drag back passes. You've probably even seen these amazing training clips showing off his ridiculous technique. This kid doesn't move like your average academy footballer. He moves like a street baller. He moves like someone who plays on the streets, but on a real football pitch against real professionals. Every single touch is smooth. Every move is unpredictable. But this is where it gets interesting, because Rayan Cherki, this free-flowing, insanely gifted footballer, is joining Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. Now, this is a team that is known and thrives on control. Every pass needs to have a purpose. Every single run needs to be rehearsed and calculated. Every single movement is very precise. This isn't about chaos. This is chess, tactical, calculated, and ruthless. So what happens when a player who thrives on freedom joins a team that demands discipline? What happens when a two-footed wizard built on individual instinct is asked to fit into a system built on structure? That's the question. And that's what makes this transfer so fascinating. Because if Pep Guardiola, a manager known for turning raw talents into world-class machines, can mould Rayan Cherki into the Manchester City way, then I am telling you right now, the Premier League is not ready. If Rayan Cherki keeps his flair and learns the discipline, we could be looking at a player who breaks the rules of the Premier League, who masters the football in the Premier League, the best of both worlds. This might just be Pep Guardiola's most daring project yet, and if it works, everyone in the Premier League is in trouble. Rayan Cherki has always been rated highly. There has been a massive train of overhypeness around his name for a long time. This is like his 4th or 5th season playing top flight football with Lyon. And what's wild is he was actually available last season for the exact same price, but no big club pulled the trigger. This summer though, it's different. Liverpool and Manchester City have both shown some serious interest, and it looks like Man City are going to get him because they got rejected by Florian Wirtz, who looks to be heading to Liverpool. And just in case you needed reminding of how good this guy actually is, he got his first cap for France the other day in a Nations League game. A goal and an assist. But it's not about the numbers, it's how he did it. The technical quality on show for both the goal and the assist was simply outrageous. He completely shifted the momentum of the game. He nearly brought France back into the game, and he stepped up when players like Michael Olise, Ousmane Dembele, and even Kylian Mbappe couldn't. He's a left-footed attacker who can play on the right wing and also play as an attacking midfielder. But don't get it twisted, he's not stuck on his left foot. He can also play with his right foot. He's just as comfortable on both feet. And as a winger, he prefers cutting inside, operating in the half spaces. Think of him more as an inside forward, an inside playmaker. He thrives when he has an overlapping fullback who opens up the space for him to run inside and take people on. He loves a step over. He loves a body feint. He'll twist defenders inside out. And just when you think you've shown him down the line, he'll get back inside and he'll whip one into the top corner. But this is what makes Rayan Cherki special. His ability to be able to manipulate defenders. If you try too hard to block the inside run for Rayan Cherki, he'll do a fake shot ball roll onto his right foot, and then he'll use that new opened up space to either produce an across the box shot or even find a pass for his teammate. It's all so deceptive and so calculated. It looks casual, but the technical level needed to pull off what he does is ridiculous. In my opinion, he's one of the most creative dribblers in the game right now, and the best part is he doesn't dribble for show. He does it to create separation, to open up passing lanes. There's no wasted movement because every action has a purpose. When Cherki plays as the attacking midfielder, he's excellent receiving the ball in tight areas. He uses his body well. He uses his arms well to keep the player away from the ball. And his first touch is almost always very close to his body. That makes it very impossible for the opposition player to get the ball off him without fouling him. And in the final third is where Rayan Cherki goes from a talent to absolutely elite. His decision making is superb. Despite how unpredictable and how flashy he can be on the ball, his final ball is always consistent and almost always the right one to play. He'll wait for the perfect moment to thread a pass through, whether that's a reverse pass, whether that's a disguised cutback, whether that's a little trick to shift the defender before releasing a perfect through ball. He is capable of doing all types of passes. He leads defenders into traps and then punishes them. But it's not just about this flair and him looking nice and having great aesthetics at doing what he does. Here's the data from his recent season in Ligue 1. 11 assists, most in the league. 22 big chances created, most in the league. 13 completed through balls, most in the league. 8 goals from open play, which is absolutely outstanding for a player known for his creativity. He is delivering numbers. He's not just affecting games with his excellent dribbling skills and his flair. He gets the results that you need, so he's not just about highlight reels. Of course, it's not all perfect. Cherki has weaknesses. Every single player in world football has weaknesses. The big problem for Rayan Cherki is that his biggest weakness is out of possession. And in the modern game, and especially in the Premier League, that's a massive deal. He doesn't press with intensity. He's not aggressive in his duels. And when he does press, it's very passive. Like he's just there to try and block a passing lane. To his credit though, he does understand pressing triggers, and if you watch him enough, you understand that he reads the game well. He knows what type of pass to block off. He knows when to block off certain options for an attacking player. But the truth is, his lack of intensity and definitely his lack of physical competitiveness on the pitch could hold him back, especially in a team like Man City, where every single player presses, where every single player works hard for the team off the ball. So the big question is, can Rayan Cherki adapt? Can this dazzling two-footed magician of a footballer bring consistent output defensively? Can he buy into Pep Guardiola's system? Because if he can, and if Pep can unlock all of this whilst adding structure and discipline to his game, then trust me, the Premier League is not ready for Rayan Cherki. Let's talk about why Manchester City actually need Cherki though, because on the surface of it might not make sense. They have many players out wide. They are stacked when it comes to players out wide. But if you dig deeper, this recent season definitely exposed a few cracks. First of all, they lacked real creativity. Kevin De Bruyne for the majority of the season was injured, and when he did even come back, you could see this was the end of an era. Phil Foden stepped up with some goals, yes, but his creativity is not at that level that you need for Manchester City. Then you look at Doku and Savio, who are excellent out wide, explosive, fast, great dribblers, but very frustrating. They'd beat a man, produce a cross, and find absolutely no one in the box. And when your striker is Erling Haaland, who's a pure poacher in the box, who's a pure goal scorer, you don't need chaos on the wing. You need players who can unlock the tight spaces, feed him clean chances. And that's where Rayan Cherki comes in. City desperately need to add creativity in the summer, whether it's out wide, whether it's centrally. And Rayan Cherki, to their benefit, actually provides them creativity on both of out wide and centrally. And it's not just about his skill set, it's about where football is actually going. And Pep Guardiola is adapting to how football is changing. Towards the end of the season, Pep began experimenting again, and he started using this 3-2-5 build-up shape. High fullbacks, narrow wingers, fluid tens. This system is perfect for Rayan Cherki. He thrives in those tight central pockets, playing off the striker, ghosting in behind defenders. With the fullbacks high and wide, he'd get the space inside the pitch where he can really hurt teams. And the craziest part is, the reported fee for Rayan Cherki right now is only 40 million euros. For a 21-year-old who leads Ligue 1 in assists, big chances created and through balls, that is a deal that you just can't ignore. City needs someone to help them break low blocks. Every single team that comes up against Manchester City for 90% of the season play a low block against them. And yes, they have Foden. Yes, they have Marmoush now, but you need a player who's unpredictable, who's two-footed, who can receive the ball in crowded areas and make something out of nothing. And that's Rayan Cherki. And look, Pep knows football is changing again. This is a guy who's always been one step ahead of the curve. He knows that football is evolving after this latest season, where teams like PSG and Barcelona, who are extremely high-risk football, were the ones dominating world football. He's mastered the structured, system-driven era. He built machines like Barcelona, Manchester City, and Bayern Munich, who have won the Champions League, who have won their leagues. But the modern game is shifting back. Individual brilliance is becoming the difference maker again. It's about about who can solve the problems on the pitch, not just follow the instructions. And Cherki is one of the best problem solvers on the pitch available in the summer. When the system fails, he'll create something. When the game's tight and you need someone to take the game by the scruff of his neck, he's the one who'll take the initiative. Even if he's not a guaranteed starter for Manchester City in the first season, he's the kind of tactical weapon you want on the bench. Someone who can play as a right winger, left winger, attacking midfielder, or even as a number 8, and he'll shift the momentum of the game instantly. Now, of course, it's not all sunshine. It's not all absolute brilliance about Rayan Cherki. There are definite concerns, and these concerns are the reason why no one signed him last season. These concerns are the reason why Liverpool and Manchester City wanted Florian Wirtz first before they wanted Rayan Cherki. And the main one is his work off the ball. Manchester City are one of the most disciplined teams out of possession. De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland, and even Savinho and Doku recently, they all press, they all defend, they have to. Cherki, not so much. He doesn't press with intensity. He loses duels more often than he wins them. And replacing someone like Bernardo Silva or Kevin De Bruyne with Rayan Cherki definitely affects Manchester City's defensive structure. But the thing is, that's actually coachable. He doesn't need to be elite at it. He just needs to be functional. Like Erling Haaland, he presses smart, not hard. And with players like Rodri behind him, Tiani Reinders, who's been linked with the club, and even Ait Nouri, who might be playing as the left back, who comes inside and makes that centre tight, you could argue that Cherki won't have as much defensive responsibility anyway. Then there's the stuff off the pitch. Some managers at Lyon who have questioned his commitment in training. There have been rumours about his attitude, clashes with staff, and all of the other stuff that usually comes out when you're frustrated with a player. But let's be real here. Lyon has been a mess for years, and this past season is what we can look at. And Cherki was outstanding. He led by example, he gave his all for the team, and the manager trusted him completely. So if we judge him on the now, those attitude concerns don't really hold up. There's also the versatility question. Some people say he's too versatile. He's not fast enough to be a winger, and he's not physical enough to be a number 8/10. But again, that depends on the system. In the Premier League, versatility can both be a weapon or a weakness. But if there's one team that can make that a weapon rather than a weakness and can figure out how to get the best out of him, it's definitely Manchester City. They dominate possession in nearly every game. They have 80% possession in nearly every game. So why not have a player who thrives in possession rather than out of possession? Someone who can break those deep lines for you, who doesn't need to do that defensive work that you expect from other players. Rayan Cherki might not be the finished product, but what he does bring is unpredictability, flair, and ability to win games in single moments. And that's exactly what Manchester City are currently crying out for. Because in a world full of structure, Cherki is pure chaos. And sometimes that's exactly what a team needs. At the end of the day, he's a player who excites you. He's the type of footballer that gets you off your seat. The kind of player people pay money to watch. You watch his highlights and you're left in awe. The way he uses his body feints, the elegance in his dribbling, the swagger he carries when he plays. It's all just different. He has the street football flair, but also the vision and precision of a pure number 10. So of course there's going to be question marks. Cherki, like I said, isn't the finished product. He's not going to produce world-class moments every single week. There might be games where he disappears or he makes the wrong decision. But he's young and he's raw, and that's okay. But if there's one club where patience is part of the process, then it's Manchester City, because we've seen what players can do in a second season Pep Guardiola system. And City fans should know that they've got a player who's just absolutely different with it. Now, I've seen people say, yeah, but Pep Guardiola is a player who doesn't let you express yourself. He's also a player who takes the expression out of a footballer. They're pointing to Jack Grealish as an example because he was brilliant at Villa and then didn't do as well at Manchester City. But let's be real, that narrative's false. Grealish didn't play well at Manchester City or didn't have that expression of himself at Manchester City because of Grealish, not because of Pep Guardiola. He's helped players like Leroy Sané, Raheem Sterling, David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne. How many more examples do you need to see creativity in his system? So what happens if Pep does the same with Cherki? What if he can guide him, sharpen that decision making, improve his off the ball work, help him with his flair, also have that structure that he needs in his game? That's when it gets scary, because we're not just talking about some flashy winger. We're talking about a player with the feet of a street footballer, the brain of a playmaker, and elite ball striking to top it off. It's a dangerous combination. And with Kevin De Bruyne passing the torch and leaving Manchester City, maybe Rayan Cherki is the perfect player for him to come in and take over from what Kevin De Bruyne was doing. Let's not forget, Both Pep Guardiola and Arne Slot, the two best managers in the league in the season, reportedly want this guy. That tells you everything about his potential. So yeah, this might look like a risk on the surface, but if it works, and if it does go right for Manchester City, it won't be another clever signing, it will be a statement. A statement that says Manchester City aren't just evolving, they're building for the future, and that Rayan Cherki might be the main guy for the future and the centerpiece of their team in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this full breakdown of Rayan Cherki to Manchester City. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Is this the right move for Manchester City? Will Rayan Cherki be able to come into the Premier League and play similarly to how he was in Ligue 1 and really affect that creative problem that Manchester City have had? Or is this a gamble too far? Don't forget to like the video, comment like I said down below, and subscribe if you're new here. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever I upload. Thanks for watching again, and peace.